Hey, it's Paul with RackOutfitters.com, here to show you the iKamper Skycamp Mini. Here we have it installed onto this overlanding rig that has an approved truck rack. Of course, it can fit to a very wide range of different vehicles and roof rack systems. So we're going to go over some of the key features that make this particular rooftop tent unique. First of all, this is manufactured by iKamper, which is a company based out of South Korea. That is the country of origin of other world-class manufacturers such as Samsung, Kia, Hyundai, and others. So it has some unique features. First of all, we've got the hard shell. This is a handmade fiberglass hard shell that has 2 plies. So it provides an outer ply and an inner ply, and in between is a thermal barrier. So that creates better interior climate control and less condensation. Also, very unique to this design is the panel on the underside. This is a aluminum honeycomb monocoque construction. Very lightweight and extremely strong. It's actually used in other high performance applications such as Formula One racing cockpits and other demanding applications. This too offers a level of thermal barrier as well. So let's go ahead and take the first step and open up the tent. To do that, we insert the key. This key particular design is made to where the key does not come out until it's in the lock position, so we have to put it back into the lock position. So we pull down on this stainless steel cable and unhook it from the bottom hook, and then we'll do the same thing on this one. And at this point, I can just leave the key inside, or you can go ahead and take it out. And then next, all we have to do to deploy the tent is lift. And as I lift, gas struts will take it up the rest of the way. Now for access on this vehicle, I can just stand on the back tire. I can even stand up higher if I need to on the bed rail. But the first step in deploying the tent is to release the Velcro that holds the ladder rungs together. So if this is your first time opening the tent, you'll have your ladder instructions. Also, I want to make sure I can reach the pull down strap. So I'm going to go ahead and deploy the pull down strap. There are other straps here you'll notice. These are auxiliary straps that are designed for when you're stowing the tent to pull in excess bulk of the canopy so that it reduces the amount of tucking in that you have to do at the last minute as you're closing the tent. Also here you see you have a cover that's covering up the legs of the ladder. That has a Velcro strap as well, and I'll pull that off. Now the purpose of this cover is to provide protection to the interior of the tent. So the legs, when you bring those down and they're resting on the ground, it's likely for them to get debris, rocks, pebbles, dirt, what have you. So this will cover that up and prevent it from touching your more delicate PV top skylight here. Also, when a tent's brand new, the rubber has off-gassing, which if unprotected could discolor that clear PV and maybe discolor it and turn it yellow. So this will go a long ways in preventing that, as well as protecting it into the future from debris. Okay, so the next step, I'm going to go ahead and just deploy this ladder slightly so that I can reach it. And then I'll extend it completely out to the full length. Even though we may not need the full length, we want to extend out the full length. And then it comes, when it gets to nearly vertical before the ladder hits the side of the vehicle, you'll pull outward and down. And as I pull down and the extension comes out, it's also pulling up the canopy supports, which is an aluminum frame that lifts the canopy. So this is a very unique feature to this tent, is the fact that you start off with a very small form factor of the tent, but then it deploys to the side, and this is a very innovative and exclusive feature to the iKamper tent. Okay, to get the tent in the correct angle, we will begin at the top. You want all of your excess rungs to be at the top of the ladder. So I'll engage, or I should say disengage your locks for each rung. You'll notice there's a gap there, and that gap will remain until you unlock the next set of rungs. Okay, so here we have it, and we're not quite touching the ground. So I'll go ahead and deploy it until it clicks into that position, and that feels like the best angle. Now, what you'll also notice is each rung is at an angle so that it presents a flat surface for your feet to give you more traction and more comfort for your feet. That again is another innovative and unique feature to iKamper tents. Most other tents, the rungs will be at an angle of the ladder and present an edge to your foot, which is much less comfortable. Okay, so also about the ladder, very important to the overall support of the tent. This ladder can support up to 300 pounds of the weight of the tent and the occupants inside. So when you first deploy the tent, you can go ahead and climb on up. And this is the outer Rainfly, which is a Oxford nylon material. Has sealed seams, taped edges, again, very high quality. Underneath it here, you have the main canopy, which is the poly-cotton material with weather-resistant zippers. You have multiple panels. The first panel is the poly-cotton. Underneath that panel is a mesh material, which is sometimes referred to as no-seam mesh. So it keeps out the smallest flying insects, yet maintains nice visibility from the inside out, and also nice breeze. And okay, so once I have this opened, I'll reach in, I'm going to grab out some of the accessories inside. First thing we have is a long bag, and that includes the awning supports, or the fly supports. So let's go ahead and take out those. There is multiple lengths, 4 long and 2 short. So the long awning supports are for the side awnings, and the short awning supports are for the main front awning. At the top of the ladder here, you can see you have an angled hole. We'll insert the rod into the angled hole and flare it up to meet this gusseted grommet. So it's heavily reinforced for that particular purpose. Let's do the other side. Okay, so now with the main awning deployed, we can get inside of the tent, and the best way to access the side awnings is from inside the tent, because it can be awkward to access those from the ends. So I'm going to go ahead and do that there, and I'll meet you over at the side here. Okay, so the first step, now this is another Oxford nylon. It can be rolled up and contained with the toggle and a loop, or it can be used as another side awning. And so for that, I'll feel up underneath and feel for the insertion point. And it can just be done, you don't have to see it, you can just feel for it. You kind of know what you're doing, having understood that it's there. At the top of the awning, you have a little nylon loop, which you insert, and that will flare this top awning. And we got a second one. I'll just feel on the underside. I can feel it there. Insert, flare upward. So as you can imagine, having access from the inside is much more convenient than having to access from the outside. Now, so we have this deployed. Here you also have another no-seam mesh On the sides, you have the PVC. And then of course, if you want it fully closed to black out the inside, you can close that as well, and it zips closed. So you have multiple methods to create the perfect environment on the inside. Okay, so coming around back to the other side here. Okay, so I'm gonna roll up all the closures here. Okay, and of course there is another opening on this side, same as the opposite side. While I'm here, you can see they've provided seam sealer, and seam sealer is something for long-term maintenance. However, when you first get your tent and you happen to close up the tent, seal it off completely, and if you see any pinhole light coming in, you can use this to seal up any of that. That's not uncommon for any rooftop tent to sometimes have some pinholes where they've stitched the tent up. Very uncommon, but it can happen. Okay, so inside the tent here, you'll notice we've got the gas struts on the back, and the gas struts, they provide a safety measure. These are lockout panels. You can just call them lockouts if you want. It's aluminum with little clips on the ends. I'll go ahead and put one on to demonstrate what that does for you. Okay, so I've snapped one on here, and what that will do is if you're ever in a position where at night there's strong winds that come along, this will prevent the tent from overcoming the winds from overcoming the strength of the gas strut. That would be in very high winds. Generally, these gas struts, these lockouts won't be necessary. Okay, and then around the tent, you'll also see there's some mesh pockets to organize gear inside. At the top here, we've got your sky view. Could have done that earlier to give more light, but we've got the light here. So again, 3 layers similar to the side windows. You've got your total blackout, you've got your mesh, and then above that you have your clear PV, which is part of the Rainfly, and that's fully sealed. So if you want to get completely through, you would have to retract or remove your Rainfly. So you'll always have that regardless, unless you completely remove the Rainfly. It's not, in other words, it's not, you can't unzip the clear PV. That has the sealed seams. Okay, so as I come back out, I'm going to take with me the other portion of the mattress. So in order for this to have its fold out feature, the mattress is in 2 halves, and you just pull it out to cover up this extension panel, providing you with your sleep surface. The mattress itself is a very generous, thick, and comfortable mattress with a quilted pad. Also, the same quilting is used on the ceiling of your hard shell, and that also provides another layer of luxury and comfort, and also a bit of a thermal break there. And of course, you have your nice graphic of the continents. Regarding the size of the tent, so this is the Mini. However, it's still a very generous sleeping surface. It's approximately 80 inches in length, which is equivalent to a queen size bed. Now the width varies slightly. Towards the back, it's about the size of a double bed. As you come towards the end where your feet will be, it's a little bit narrower because you have a narrower panel. But in general, it's designed to accommodate comfortably 2 people. Okay, so let's go ahead and take it from the stowed position to, from the deployed position to the stowed position. And I'll put the pad where it was. Very important, you're going to want to take out the lockout for the strut that we put in just a moment ago. I'll begin tucking back these spring poles. Generally, when you come down the ladder, you should be facing the ladder, ideally. Okay, and then let's go ahead and pull out the last two spring pulls here. Okay, now we want to make sure we've got our auxiliaries ready to go and our main also ready to go. And then to bring the ladder back into the stowed position, we start at the very bottom and release, and then release, and release. And you just have to keep on going until you get to the very top. Make sure you grab a hold of your spring strut. I might have left something in there. Okay. So there is an ideal position for that. Also, there's an ideal method of closure for the side panels to allow air to escape, but not allow the material to flare out. And so that's with this zipped closed, and also this zip closed, but not the PV, because the PV is going to stop air from flowing out. And the more you do it, the faster it gets, and the more consistent you'll be. Okay, so I have the ladder there. I'm going to go ahead and reinstall that Velcro just as a safety measure. I got my auxiliaries in a good spot. Now I can begin pulling down. I mentioned earlier about retracting or removing the Rainfly. Here's a loop. There's also a toggle on the inside that allows you to roll it completely up and tuck it in this area if you're not using it. However, you can also, you'll see a zipper here. You can also detach the Rainfly completely if you don't plan to use it at all. Also, the entire canopy itself can be removed and replaced if that ever needs to happen as well. Okay, so I'm doing as much as I can to keep as much of the material inside as I can. And then as you get to a certain point, the gas struts will not be lifting. And so at that point, you can go ahead and bunch up all your excess strap and tuck it in where the ladder is. Double check everything here. And here I'm going to go and pull down on the cables. Okay, that looks good. I'll engage that cable on the underside. Same thing on this side. And I'll need my, a little bitty guy sticking out there. Tuck him in. Not the end of the world. Okay, now I need my keys again. So this is this latch. I need to insert the key, put it in the unlock position, come up and lock. Same thing on this side. Insert the key, unlock, relock, and now your tent is stowed. So those are all the key features of the iKamper Skycamp Mini. This product and the full line of iKamper products are available at rackoutfitters.com. Please see the link in our video description for all the complete details, our promotions, and all of our buying options. And thank you for watching.